Hello, everyone. This is Smiljana Gavrancic back again with StarSound Speaks, episode 91. Oh my goodness. Or is it 92? I don't know. I can't remember. Well, that leads us to our conversation today called The New Moon in Pisces. So, as I said before in my March 2021 month ahead forecast, which you can go back and look on my channel, StarSound Astrology, this is maybe the most outrageously magical lunation of the year. Like this last lunation that we just came out of, we had that 6-planet stellium in Aquarius, and that was great for like bold new beginnings and liberation, speaking out. And I guess the most outrageously vivid example of that in the collective was the Harry and Meghan Oprah interview. You know, you could say that. Well, this lunation is magical, and it's a different focus, but it's on magic and mysticism and dreams coming true. I mean, I know that sounds very cliched because, you know, we're in a very cynical world, you know, like dreams come true. Yeah, right. You know, like there's real estate in, you know, on the North Pole, and, you know, and we just don't want to hear about that. But really, trust me, this one is about dreams fulfilled, faith restored, divine grace. And why is that? Well, we have the sun and the moon and in Pisces, and of course, on a new moon, it's the beginning of a new moon cycle. It's new beginnings in the sign of Pisces. So that's what's giving it its very dreamy, otherworldly emphasis. But it's even more so this particular lunation because we have Venus and Neptune are lined up, aligned, conjunct with the sun and the moon. So Venus, Neptune, sun and moon all in Pisces, tightly aspected. Wow, that's an abundance of this divine grace and this mystical, a bhakti, like bhakti yoga, the devotion to the divine, and this really mystical, otherworldly aspect. So yes, it comes with some caveats. So I'll just kind of go into that here. And it's not a long video. I'm just going to kind of walk us through the houses of where is this going to occur in your chart. So depending on your rising sign, this will give you that clue. If you don't have a chart, you can always go to astro.com or astro-seek.com, and you can get a free chart pulled up in a minute. You know, you can see exactly where what your rising sign is, and then determine, you know, where this is going to fit for you. So anyway, moving on. So the Venus Neptune, you know, you think about Neptune, it's, you know, this is a double-bodied water sign, Pisces. And this is, you know, so I'm thinking of like glamour, other worlds, mermaids, you know, mermaids, dolphins, whales, you know, having mystical encounters with other worlds, higher worlds, dimensional worlds. This is a very purely devotional, and it has a very sweet aspect, you know, like, you know, when I think about Neptune, I think of like, you know, one of God's innocents, as my old boyfriend used to say, oh, this person who is very kind of sweet and, you know, perhaps naive by most people's standards. Oh, he's one of God's innocents, he used to say. So, you know, it has that kind of quality to it. But anyway, more about that. Venus ruling the arts and connection and love and harmony. So, and again, I don't mean this to sound cliche, but this could be about meeting someone or something, or having some event or something in our life that occurs this month that is literally like out of this world. And a kind of an encounter that leaves us carried to another dimension, or this beautiful, perfect, ideal, sweetness. And you know, we could all use some of that, I think, you know. However, of course, there's a downside to Venus and Jupiter. Well, Jupiter's ruling this lunation with ancient astrology. Jupiter rules Pisces, so there can be an overdoing of this, and kind of like head over heels, you know, losing ourselves. So losing ourselves can be good if we're hypercritical, you know, like, hello, Virgo risings. Anyone out there? Any Virgos? Yeah, Virgo sun or rising. No, not to gang up on Virgos, because we love our Virgos. we just want to be very, just be open to new experiences and glamour too. I mean, Venus and Neptune, it's, when you think about like Jean Harlow in the 1930s movies, with those women in those beautiful gowns and those Busby Berkeley musicals with all those feathers and music and this, ideal love environment, that's very Neptune, Venus-y, Venusian, so that might be fun to go to a movie and watch a movie and escape. And can we go to the movies right now? Some places are starting to open up. I know New York City did. So we still want to be smart and observe our protocols and be safe. But little by little, we're kind of moving out. But this is a great lunation for chasing our dreams, and just losing ourselves in that, and but in a good way, like with a full open heart. The downside of it is, of course, being too much rose-colored glasses, like just kind of losing ourselves. Drugs, alcohol, obviously are, it could be, an indulgence, a kind of a hedonistic indulgence in, mind-altering drugs or alcohol or escapist tendencies. So with Venus, it might be, you buy all this fashion, a new wardrobe, and you're like, oh, I don't really have the money to pay for it. Yeah. But so, just being wise about that and just being aware of where the downsides, the downside where we could deceive ourselves or be deceived. So, buyer beware. So let's just walk ourselves through the first to the 12th houses and where this might show up for you. So if you are an Aries rising, Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, that's this lunation is going to take place in your 12th house. So the 12th house is very much about this very world. You'll fall in love with a mermaid or a merman and this is the one for me, like here it is, right? Otherworldly. Oh, but he doesn't have legs, he's got a tail. Oh, no problem, we can work with that. We'll get a fish tank in the bedroom. It's like whatever, you can really go to town on these. But again, in the 12th house, this new moon might be about, there might be an illness or a sacrifice that we have to make, but there's some divine grace to it that gives us some kind of, I don't want to say a way out, but it's like maybe there's a blessing that comes through, from these other, like there may be in a loneliness or an isolation, there may be a blessing that comes through that, which allows us to, I'm hearing the word seize the mystical. So that could be, where we encounter another world, maybe in sorrow and loneliness. That is the gateway by which we open up and see and experience a whole nother world, and we're the better for it. So that's one way that if you're Aries rising and it's happening in your 12th house, whole signs, that's one way that it might play out. Like I said, getting lost is not a bad thing. There's that saying that you might have seen on t-shirts, all who wander are not lost, so that would be certainly a good thing to remember for this lunation, especially if you're an Aries rising and you have this happening in your 12th house. Second, let's see now, the Taurus. So for Taurus rising, this is going to happen in your 11th house, which rules friends, allies, group consciousness, groups, group organizations, networks of allies and people that help us to move ahead and achieve our ambitions. So your friends and the people, that you connect with are your tribe, that they can help you chase a dream and help a dream come true. You might find a dream, dreamy encounters with friends or mystical encounters with friends. So that's where that might, how that might play out. If you're a Gemini rising, this is going to be in your 10th house, which rules career and the workplace. So there might be, you might be, there might be a new beginning around a job or a dream position, or maybe in levels of ambition or authority where it has, it feels and has the like enormous potential for success. And chasing, chasing and realizing one's dreams. But again, make sure that it's grounded in some kind of substance, which can be very tricky when you got all that water happening with Neptune and Pisces. For Cancers, all you Cancer risings, this is going to be happening in your ninth house. The ninth house rules, it's yoga philosophy, occult wisdom, spirituality, maybe a teacher, being a teacher or studying, finding a teacher or spiritual teacher, or college, maybe learning something new of a higher level, like going back to college or going to college, or moving into learning something of a higher mind nature. It also rules publishing, or the courts, the law, doing what is right, all of these qualities that are associated with the ninth house. So ethics and things. So there could be new abilities and new openings and new doors that open in those areas for you. Ninth house is also foreign travel. I know where people are starting to reconnect again, with long distance travel or foreign travel, or maybe contact with somebody who is in another country. For the Leo risings, this is going to be happening in your eighth house. So the eighth house is a really interesting, it's a very deep, it's ruled by Scorpio, and it's deep and purgative and transformative, and it rules, sex, death, and taxes. You know how they always say all those are related. Well, yeah, that's astrology for the eighth house. It also rules debt and penalty, and so maybe somebody owes you a debt, and you might see this come to fruition, so it's not always a bad thing. Or it could be an emotional debt. It might not be a financial, necessarily a monetary debt. Or where something finishes, like death. Death can not necessarily mean physical death. It could also be just a metaphorical death, the ending of something. Maybe the ending of a certain contract that you have with your divine self. Yourself, your soul contract, a kind of, there's all kinds of transactions, that can occur in that domain. But it is definitely, I would say you could receive support regarding other people's resources or money, and that could be in a will, an inheritance, things like that. A very magical, otherworldly, that might enable, that could be a very cathartic, emotional, regenerative quality to our lives. It could be something that comes our way in that manner. But again, the caveat is buyer beware, be aware of what you give to others and what you receive from others, especially financial. So, there's that. I would say too, so financially, definitely a lookout for that. Virgos, so for you Virgo risings, this is going to take place in your seventh house of relationships and partnership. So that could be a dreamy, amazing, incredible one-to-one connections with people, because it's not just marriage and partnership, but it could be partnership like one-to-one connections with others, like, for example, a counselor or therapist. Connecting with people one-to-one. So there could be some ideal, beautiful, ideal unions and such that happen that way. And it could be like you could meet a marriage partner, like your ideal mate, somebody that just comes in, that just, rides in on this beautiful wave of this Venusian, Neptunian energy. I don't know if it would last forever, but whatever it is, whatever connection, whether it's a one-to-one, therapist counseling connection, or a partnership with someone, or a marriage. Certainly, have fun with it, enjoy, be in love, feel, allow the emotions, allow all of it to be felt and experienced. So anyway, and it could be like, this, who knows, marriage partner might be somebody that literally like a dreamboat person, like Brad Pitt or something, Julia Roberts, showing up at your door, serenading you, or, proposing marriage. And it's like, okay. Well, anyway, you get the idea. But again, a buyer beware in terms of relationships and who you partner with. For Libra risings, this is going to be happening in the 6th house, which is about, that's health, really more like illness. And so nutrition and health come into play there, but it could be that maybe there's something good that comes out of, maybe there's a health crisis, or, what's the other word for crisis? Opportunity, a health opportunity. So there could be something, but that becomes a blessing, like a blessing in disguise. So just, look for that this month. Great opportunities for healing, maybe using plants to heal, or going out in the forest. I could imagine, going in the forest and communing with the plant kingdom and being in this beautiful, quiet space and receiving healing. What is that called? Forest bathing? When people walk through the forest and, you literally get your auric field cleansed just by walking through trees and groves of trees. So, let loose and connect with these, the nature and for the purpose of healing. And if you do find yourself in any kind of a health crisis or opportunity, just know that there is this blessing around it. So it's not the end of the world, and it's going to be a happy ending. That's the potential that's available to us with this new moon. For Scorpio risings, this is going to be in your 5th house, which is about love and romance, children, fertility, pregnancy, creative projects, divine will, so these are very much about creativity. So again, extramarital affairs, sex and romance. Not so much the 7th is more like partnering, but the 5th is like, booty call. So let's be honest, So anyway, there's that. And so, and I would say too, this bringing a kind of sweetness and like a childlike innocence and sweetness to romantic encounters, and to your creative projects. So for you Sag risings, you have this happening in your 4th house, which is the 4th is the family and the roots of your family, your genealogy, family karma, home life, mothering, mothers, land, things like that. So maybe finding the ideal family, or finding the your dream of the ideal family or mother or home situation, could present itself. Very, having a magical, decorate your house as the inside of the sea with mermaids. I don't know. I mean, it's Neptune already. Let's see, Capricorn rising. This is happening in your 3rd house. So that would be 3rd house about communications, siblings, writing, teaching, educating, learning. It's, connecting with friends and networking with friends, maybe having really cool conversations, sharing your dreams with your friends, moving deeply into those, into these worlds that are not the mundane world, right? It's not our workaday, everyday world. It's the dreamland. So make a movie with your friends, write some dreamy blog posts, have fun with it. There could be some magical breakthroughs and new beginnings with, maybe if there had been wounding amongst siblings, there could be some of that, where there's a beautiful dream is realized, with one's brothers and sisters or cousins, aunts, uncles. Those are all 3rd house things. having the Piscean feeling is renewal, faith and love and hope and faith is restored and renewed. So, hey, like I said, who wouldn't use it? Who couldn't use that? Second house for Aquarians, this is happening in your second house, which is your personal resources and finances, your talents, your possessions. So buy that mermaid fin and wiggle around on your bed, have fun with that. You might find some kind of new beginnings with the resources that you have and the skills that you have, maybe in, and I would just say, again, being aware of, maybe buying something or having something that's, what's that saying? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So there's kind of like that operating in the background. So, maybe not forever, right? Just enjoy this lunation and just see where it takes you, like let go of trying to control things and just, this is just really for everybody, let go of trying to control things. Just be in your heart, in your expanded mystical self. Chanting mantras, those are all like outrageous things to do for everybody, regardless of where this occurs and in what house. But chant and kirtan, which is the chanting the devotional names of the divine, Sanskrit chanting. If you put a YouTube search or a Google search for kirtan, there are great kirtan masters, Jai Uttal, I'm thinking of Durga Das, Krishna Das, Deva Premal. These are all outrageous chant masters, and you could really get some cool bhakti grooving, Venus, Neptune, singing, poetry, inspiration by reciting it, listening to it, and creating your own. I mean, goodness, the door is wide open on this one. Let me just finish with the first house. So for the first house is for anyone who's a Pisces rising. This is going to be occurring in your first house. And that is truly, you find out you're a mermaid, you're a dolphin, you're a whale. That's who you are. Your presentation, your physical body is, you have this otherworldly connection and you see yourself beyond the strict third dimensional understanding of oneself, right? It's very transcendental to the image and the appearance, and who you show up as, has this whole mystical dreamlike quality this month. So, a lot about beauty, and I would say being really kind to oneself and yourself and your body image. And this is an opportunity to maybe, get over body shaming and things like that have plagued so many people for so long. So to just unconditionally love yourself and your body as it is and as it isn't. So let me say that again, because I think there's a lot out there in the world that, where we don't think enough of ourselves. So it's about accepting ourselves as we are and as we aren't. That it's okay, yeah. So that's my little pep talk for the new moon in Pisces, and yay! Next, I'll be. I just want to say too that in our next video coming up, I have Smiljana coming back, Smiljana Gavrancic from Serbia. Remember how she was so amazing? She called out Donald Trump's victory in 2016, his defeat in 2020, and all correct, nailed it. And when the Georgia elections that happened in January, the runoff between Ossoff and Warnock, she called that one too, that they would both win, and sure enough they did. And so she has got some really exciting things, because I know, I asked her to come back because I know, and she knows too, there's more that's going to happen with the royal family. As you know, back in January, if you saw that video, my year ahead, I said, hey, we're going to hear a lot about the royal family this year. This was before we knew that Meghan and Harry were being interviewed by Oprah. I'm like, you gotta see them back. So there's more that's happening that is really fresh new directions. And why should that matter to any of us? Well, think about it. If that's the collective, like if you think of the royal family as, here it is, this is the way things are. Like I finished watching The Crown, and I had resisted watching that for a long time, but I watched it, and it was really fascinating to hear the same verbiage that Queen Elizabeth would say to Lady Di, you know, I need help. Oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do. You just have to tough it out. She said the same, or I don't know, it was her, but somebody in the handlers said the same thing to Meghan. So this is an opportunity where we are shedding old stuck, you know, nothing we can do, and then to say, wait a minute, no, there is something we can do. We don't have to play by old rules that limit and hurt people. We get to reinvent things. And this is the beauty of the Saturn Uranus square that's happening this year. Our next one will be mid-June, and then the final one for 2021 will be in Christmas Eve. So new beginnings, taking the best of the past, but infusing it with some new, fresh breakthrough, non-linear breakthrough. So yeah, so anyway, that's all I have for today. We are going, like I said, stay tuned, because we are going to be bringing you that very shortly. So I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful new moon. Let me know how you're doing. Leave your comments below, and how you're doing, or what would your dream be for this new moon. For me, I'm creating outrageous, radiant health breakthroughs and work and productivity breakthroughs, just starting a new page. And no dream is too crazy or too outrageous, you know, no dream is that way. Dream big, go for it. So that's all for today. Thank you all for listening. This is Smiljana Samsara, StarSound Speaks, starsoundastrology.com. Have a great one, and many, many, many blessings to you. Namaste.